Hey everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us for the June First Friday Facebook Live on Ask a Bookkeeper. Our mission on the Ask a Bookkeeper show is to take the big, intimidating ideas that often scare small business owners away from following their dreams, and we simplify them to turn them into just another fun part of running a small business. So think of us kind of like Sesame Street for small business owners. Our show is largely crowdfunded, which is why we're not advertising or thanking any sponsors today. So if this information is helpful to you and you want to see this show succeed and grow, please visit askabookkeeper.com and click the button to donate. From there, you can also access our YouTube channel and Facebook group, where you can catch past episodes and participate in the ongoing discussions that happen between episodes that can help your business succeed. Pretty please subscribe to us on YouTube, which helps us get our numbers up, and be sure to tell your friends how awesome this is. I am your host, Ingrid Edstrom, the Priestess of Profits, and I'm here with my co-host today, Penny the Practical Professional.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Penny. So we're really excited to talk with our special guest today, and today's topic and guest really encompasses the spirit of what we are working to create here on Ask a Bookkeeper, encouraging our audience to believe in yourselves and follow your dreams. I am honored to welcome Earl the Bard to our show. Thank you so much for joining us on Ask a Bookkeeper.
Yay, thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Yay. So today's a little bit strange because we are actually not live on Facebook. We tried going live on Facebook several times, and unfortunately, Zoom's Facebook Live tools appear to not be working. So we're having to just do a Zoom recording, do the best we can with what we have. We do have an attendee here on Zoom with us, which is great. And I posted on Facebook encouraging others to join us on Zoom. So hopefully we'll have a few more people joining us for the live broadcast here on Zoom, which is the best way to do it anyway, because then if you want to, you can actually join us on the recording, which is always fun. You too can be a star on the Muppet Show.
Woo! Yeah, Charissa was cracking up at all of our behind-the-scenes jokes before we started. So
yeah, you get the little peek behind the curtain.
Maybe start charging for that.
So Earl, we asked you to join us on the show today because we want to hear about your story. You are a professional musician.
Oh, so good.
You get paid to make music and do what you love, follow your dream. I would love to hear from you how you got started on that track and, you know, sort of what your journey's been along the way and where you are now.
Okay, sure. Well, I mean, I've always loved music. My whole life, I've, from pounding on the piano at my grandma's house when I was just, tiny little tot and everything. I started playing the cello in elementary school and picked up the guitar in middle school and then started playing synthesizers just after high school. And I've played music my whole life. But when I went to college, I was in Ashland, Oregon. And I happened to be at a tiny little tavern called Oberon's, which was themed like a Renaissance fair all year. And they happened to be having a 6-month anniversary party because they were surprised they lasted even that long. And anybody with a musical instrument was welcome to jump up on the stage. And so I was there with my wife, just enjoying the scenery and the music and reveling in all of it, when all of a sudden in the door walked this wild Scotsman in full regalia, like with war paint and animal pelt. But he pulls out this incredible instrument and hops up on the stage and starts playing. It's got a crank on one end and he's got like a keyboard on the other. And it was the most magical and complicated thing I've ever seen. And in that very moment, I knew that that was my instrument. I didn't know its name yet, but I knew that that was what I needed to do. And
love at first sight.
It really was. It absolutely was. The first words out of my mouth were, I don't know what that is, but I need one. And I then spoke with him after, and I learned that it's an instrument called the hurdy-gurdy. And it really was like just an instant soul connection with this instrument. And my story ended up bringing me to find one about a year later on consignment at the local music store, which I got for an incredible deal because it was broken down. And so I spent my first week or two with this instrument learning how to fix it. And it really kind of deepened my connection and really reaffirmed that this is something I want to put my time and my energy into. And I would play it for hours. I would easily lose 4 hours a day just playing because it was something that I felt so connected with, and it was so nurturing for my soul. And the music was so wonderful, and I came to it so quickly and easily that my entire story with it has been such a progression of, this is so easy, this must be what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's never stopped being a joy for me. And I started playing music on the street corner with it kind of as a bet, where it's like, yeah, I'm going to put a lot of money down on this weird instrument we don't know if I'm going to like or not, but I bet you I can make the money back. And I started just practicing in front of people passing by on the streets of Ashland, and I really kind of cut my teeth as a performer there, and worked up kind of a loosey-goosey fun banter that really lets me interact with people in a fun and casual way. And I started then actually getting gigs at Oberon's Tavern, where this medieval fits a lot better, and I got to really, really blossom as a performer, and it's led me down a path to going to Renaissance fairs in full garb, playing my music and wowing everybody there, so much so that people come to me and ask me to apply for their Renaissance fair next year, which kind of was like the seeds that started my season last year. I ended up going from like 0 to 60, and I'm now getting 3 months out of every year booked up with Renaissance fairs performances, and now I'm a traveling bard, singing songs and playing music and making merry and just being who I want to be out at Renaissance fairs, and it's great.
Oh, that's so amazing! It's bringing a tear to my eye. Oh, I love that you're doing that. And if you build it, they will come, right?
Yeah, that's true. Because I am building them now, which is an incredible thing.
Oh.
My passion has gone beyond just playing the instrument, and through wonderful connections that I've made with people in the community around this very niche instrument, I've actually come to have a day job building them in a workshop. And I now build hurdy-gurdies by day and play hurdy-gurdies by night.
So good. Well, I think the workshop is, didn't you say that the guy who built yours, it's his workshop?
Yeah, absolutely. He originally built one for me as a custom commission, and after a couple years, we just got to know each other a little bit more and more. We became friends, and then he had an opening up in his workshop, and I was working an office job that just wasn't a really good fit for me and my talents, and it was an incredible timing, and he was so excited to have somebody who knows the instrument already and loves the instrument. Usually he works with woodworkers who don't know anything about this instrument, but instead it's coming the other way around, where it's someone who knows the instrument very well and can be taught how to build it with woodworking skills. And so it's been a wonderful way to develop my love of this instrument even deeper, as well as getting to learn a whole set of new skills.
That is so fantastic. So you said that this whole journey started about 5 years ago. That was when you first encountered the hurdy-gurdy?
Yeah, just about. Yeah, I think it was a little over 5 years ago is when I first learned about the instrument. I had never heard of one before that. And I had done a little bit of research over the next year and was like, oh, it'd be cool to get, but I don't know how I'm ever going to get one. And just about 5 years ago, was when I stumbled upon my very first one. It was right about the end of 2014. And that launched me down this path.
Yeah. Cool. So, and at that time, you said that you loved music, but were there any instruments at that time that you were really proficient with? Or was the hurdy-gurdy the first one that you threw yourself into like full bore?
Well, proficient. I mean, I can make pleasing sounds with just about any stringed instrument you put in my hand. But I've never really felt like a really good musician with these things. I have never felt the need or the drive, and I've never put as much time into perfecting my skills with any other instrument as I have with the hurdy-gurdy. And so I guess I was proficient enough to make a pleasant song, but I wasn't necessarily as, well-rounded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the point there is you really found your niche. I mean, you're standing on a street corner practicing, as you said. You barely had any experience with it at that point. You're practicing, and people are lining up and asking you questions. I mean, you said that when you first saw it, you said, I don't know what that is, but I got to play it. How many times have you heard that from other people?
Oh man, so many times.
Right?
Whenever anybody's like, oh my gosh, that's the coolest thing ever, I'm like, yeah, that's a very natural reaction.
So you really stand out. And since we talk about small business here quite a bit, and this is your business, this is absolutely your business, is making music and being a bard.
Yeah.
That's where you stand out. And that's the point, is being able to stand out in the community, in the culture. There are plenty of musicians out there that will never get recognized because they don't have hurdy-gurdies.
Yeah. It's true. You know, I joke it's one of the best icebreakers you could ever have. It's a really easy way to stand out in a crowd. It's also a really great way to be able to meet people, is having something interesting and unique that people want to know more about.
Well, let's dig into that for a moment, because, you know, when it comes down to it, it's not just about the hurdy-gurdy. I mean, yes, the hurdy-gurdy is a great way to grab attention. It's unique. It's different. I think the main thing here is that for any artist who's looking to follow their dreams and their passion and make a career out of it, we all have something unique and different. Mm-hmm. And the main trick there is getting past the internal dialogue that holds us back, that tells us that maybe we're not good enough, that imposter syndrome that interrupts us and throws us for a bit of a whirl. And so I would love to dig into that a little bit more deeply. And so, Earl, you said 5 years ago you encountered the hurdy-gurdy for the first time, and then you started playing with it, you got deeper into it. When did you decide that you wanted to be Earl the Bard, professional musician? When was that transition?
I'm sorry, my attention's being pulled. That was, when did I make the transition to being, yeah? Okay, cool, sorry. Trying to do this in between building instruments. Let's see. I'm so sorry. You said, when did I know about making the transition to
becoming Earl the Bard, professional musician?
Great. Okay. Thank you. I'm so sorry. So I think really what it was is that I had started playing it, and it really just kind of brought something out in me, you know, like I kind of had dreams of like, oh, maybe like I'll, you know, pick up an instrument and like play at a Renaissance fair someday, because I love Renaissance fairs, and it's just seemed like something fun to do. And I've always liked the archetype of the bard, but having the hurdy-gurdy and really connecting so deeply with this instrument, it was just almost like a matter of months, actually, I think, of just playing it. Like by the time I was proficient enough to feel confident playing in front of people, I had just, it's like something awoke in me where it was like, this is my path. Like I know I can make money doing this because I have something interesting to offer.
Yeah.
Wow. And you were able to just throw yourself into it completely, which is fantastic.
Kind of in between schoolwork, I was still going to the university at the time. And it's always been something I've kind of done in between other work that's, you know, it's kind of my side hustle, as it were. But when I do it, I throw myself into it wholeheartedly.
Yeah. Well, and that was a few years ago. So at first it was a side hustle. It started there. And now it's your main hustle. That's kind of your main focus. And your day job, which is more the side kind of thing, is building these amazing instruments, right?
Absolutely.
Well, and it's also true that maybe you make more money building them in the shop because that's day to day all the time, but your main focus, your passion, what you're driving towards is the music, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's really it. Is I love my job, and I'm so excited to come in every single day and work in the workshop and, like I said, learn new skills, improve my connection with this instrument. But it's really where I come alive, is doing my bardic performance as an entertainer and getting out and seeing people's faces light up and being able to capture everyone's attention just for a little bit, make them forget about everything else they've got going on in their life and really just focus in and listen and understand a song. And it's so good.
Such an inspiring story.
Well, and I think another thing that we can add here for other small business owners is that just because you are what's classically like referred to as an artist, like you're termed an artist because you make music, you know, and painters are artists and sculptors are artists and things like that. But really, anybody who's passionate about what they're doing can make the business into an art. I make pies. Pies aren't normally considered artistic. You don't go to a pie gallery, right? And
Not with that attitude.
But you could. Woo. Ingrid, I just had a great idea. Let's talk about that at our next meeting.
Okay.
But like, I consider pies my art, right? I try to instill something different, something unique into every pie that I do, because there are a lot of pie makers out there, right? And I can go into having fresher ingredients. I can go into creating better stories and connections with the customers. I can go into the love that I have, the passion that I have. I can go into creative recipes that I make and flavors and all that. All of that is part of the art, right? But the fact that I make pies the way that I make pies, and I'm passionate about it, and nobody else can do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Also, I'm a puppet.
That's an
So
extra.
I guess that's the shtick.
So Earl, we've talked about this amazing instrument, and I'm betting we've kind of intrigued the audience a little bit. So for those who are watching the replay of this, where can they find some of your music? I know that most of your stuff currently is gigs live at Ren fairs and such like that. Can people find you online anywhere?
Yeah, actually, I do have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/Earl the Bard.
It's like Kermit the Frog, only it's Earl the Bard.
Earl the Bard. So you can find me on YouTube. I've got some original music as well as some covers. I've got a couple clips here and there of me playing live at Ren fairs. And I do also have a band camp with a short little EP called The Story So Far, in which I've done some multi-instrument recordings with some of the techniques and skills I was learning at the university. And so it's just a couple little samples here and there that you can find.
That is fantastic.
Well,
So-
and I understand you have an instrument with you, right?
That's true. As a bard,
Maybe, like, bust out a bit for us, for posterity?
Yeah, sure.
You want to teach us a little bit about the hurdy-gurdy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh,
So-
it's so pretty.
Thank you very much. So this instrument here is actually the great-great-grandpappy of the piano. This is the first stringed instrument to have a keyboard applied to it. So it's a bowed stringed instrument with strings running from the tailpiece down here all the way up to the headstock. But it's powered with a crank that rotates a wheel here, and this will vibrate all the strings at the same time. So I have melody strings here that I play with a little keyboard underneath. I push the buttons up, and that pushes tiny frets into the strings, as opposed to a guitar where you push the string into the fret. But I have a melody string here, as well as drone strings that sit above and below here. And I can turn these on, and it gives it kind of a bagpipe sound.
Wow.
And that wheel provides a continuous turning that will play continuously instead of a violin that goes back and forth. So I can play a little melody down here. Yeah.
Nice.
That
I
is
think the
amazing.
mic might be clipping on the sounds,
Probably.
but it is coming across. That's
Okay.
beautiful.
Thank you.
So yeah, I think the microphone on the computer and Zoom capability is not quite capturing the magical, epic nature that is the hurdy-gurdy. So people might need to track you down and find you live and listen to some of your recordings, because
Yeah.
it's just so amazing. When I first saw
YouTube,
you,
Earl the
blew my
Bard.
mind.
Yeah. It's always sounds much better in person than when trying to record it. It's a funny medieval instrument, so it's kind of hard to get a good recording, period, but especially in such a situation as right now. But if you find me out in the field or find me on YouTube, you can get a pretty good idea for what this thing can do.
Well, and when it comes to the business aspect of things, it's one of those situations that's really creating a rising tide that raises all ships, because in the same way that when you first met this instrument, you were so captured by it, you're like, I need one. Now, when people see you, they might be captured by it and say, I need one. And you say, well, I happen to be a hurdy-gurdy maker. So it's this self-perpetuating system where you never necessarily need to sell yourself. So if somebody is seeing this episode and they're like, I have to learn more about this, and then that person falls deeper in the rabbit hole and says, okay, fine, I need one. Where can somebody find a hurdy-gurdy?
Well, it just so happens that I can make you one here at Alterwind Music. I believe it's alterwind.com. That's ALTARWIND.
Great.
Okay.
And we'll add that link, yeah?
Yep, we can stick that on the YouTube channel.
And I know at one point we discussed doing a quick tour of the shop. Is that still feasible, or probably
You
not?
want to grab your computer and run up to the shop really quick, or is George in the middle of things?
I can certainly try. Well, we're always in the middle of things.
Yeah. I think we have just about a minute left before the hour, so if we can grab computer and go. We're getting the tour right now of George's house.
Let's go on an adventure.
We're getting the tour of Earl's face.
So, hooray! But it's incredible because this is the view out the backyard. I am a magical elf building incredible toys in this wood shop out in the woods, and it's spectacular. So if I lose signal, I'm sorry, but let's give it a quick little shot here. But here we've got...
Oh, I think we lost signal.
Oh, no.
You're getting a little choppy, Mr. Bard. Oh, we got you.
Apparently, I can't go in there.
Okay.
The magical zone.
Yep.
That's it. Yeah, there's a magical force field that prevents this human computer device from working.
There's a vortex in the wood shop. Well, that's okay. We got a quickie look, and it froze with the wood shop in the background, so people know that it exists. They've seen a unicorn, and now we know.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, with that, we are at the hour. So I think let's go ahead and wrap up. Thank you so much, Earl, for joining us. And if anybody would like to learn more about Earl the Bard, you can follow him on YouTube and check out his Bandcamp. And if you decide that you need a hurdy-gurdy, check out alterwind.com. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yep.
And to see any past episodes of Ask a Bookkeeper or to donate to our show, go to askabookkeeper.com. Thanks, everyone, for watching today. And thank you so much to Earl the Bard for joining us and inspiring more artists to follow their dreams. Because you too, everyone in the audience watching this, you can decide to take whatever you love best and turn it into your career. We believe in you.
Fantastic. Hey, Earl, any chance you could play us a song as we fade out?
Yeah, sure.
Just real quick.
I don't know if Zoom really fades out. It's more of just a stop, but let's go for it.
Well, let's see.
Ask a Bookkeeper Jam! Woohoo! Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.